Hey everybody, Joseph Adams here, and today's topic is a really interesting topic that I wanted to talk about, and that is astral connections. So this has been popping up in my reality a lot because when you put a lot of time into meditation, something really cool happens. You get into the present moment of your life, which is where everything is occurring. And when you've learned to reach a particular level of emotional balance matched with mental clarity, you begin to shift and transcend from a state of thinking to a state of feeling. And when you begin to integrate the concepts and the higher dimensional experiences of feeling, you begin to perceive more of reality because there is far, far, far much more reality in a state of feeling. And something begins to occur when you reach this level of balance. And in my time and in my experience, the spaces and gaps between getting emotional or reacting out of a particular experience that causes reaction, that brings me out of my harmony, that begins to be a really important experience for me because it is a opportunity to see where my energy is weakest. Now, when I go further and further stretches of not being out of harmony, something happens because your higher power is constantly wanting you to learn. And there is an abundance of experience that is always there. So many connections that you have in your life. Everyone you've ever met, every experience you've ever had is inside of you and contained within you. So, what happens when one begins to think about someone strongly with a lot of emotion? In many cases, it could be when someone is upset with someone. Let's say it was a fight or an altercation with a loved one or a close friend, and you think of them a lot, and you're creating this mental and emotional weight. And the more and more you fuel this thought, you're putting emotion behind it, it begins to carry weight. And there is a time in which that weight begins to literally connect to that individual. And that individual, if they're in a state of balance, harmony, they do not judge. They've shown the universe that they are open to receive without judgment. They don't take things personally. They don't have an agenda, but they're in a balanced, relaxed state. They begin to become aware of when someone is thinking about them. And it could be a sensual or sexual feeling. It could be an angry or a resentful feeling, any type of strong emotion. And I've learned, and I haven't really spoken about this very often, but this happens so much in my time because I stay in such balance. And when you have someone think of you really, really deeply, it will come to me. It comes to me in my dreams, and I'm able to see the cord that is trying to be connected, that is trying to have a message. Like when someone really wants to say something to someone, they may dwell upon it or think about it really strongly within their own mind, unbeknownst to themselves, that they're actually sending this information through the astral to the individual, because everyone is connected to everyone. We have this experience of distance, of walls, of privacy, but on the other side, there are no boundaries. There are no places to hide. There is no such thing as withholding information because all of your information is stored within your auric field. So when you connect to another spirit or another non-physical being, all of that information is being transferred immediately. and you begin to know each other. And this is the ascended state. When we get to the next level of consciousness, all your information is glowing and vibrating outwards. Everyone knows everything about you. There's nothing to hide, because it becomes a matter of polarity and force building. You're learning the laws of love, which is the next level of consciousness, because when we begin to embody the vibrational state of love, the behavioral state of love, non-judgment, non-reaction, unconditional vibration, it becomes your vibration, becomes your perception. And everything that brings you out of that perception is your opportunity to grow and to learn and to see, find, and acknowledge where your weakness is. And when you're in a constant state of balance, in a constant state of harmony, or you go through long periods of reality in which you don't come out of that balance, you may have these other relationships with other individuals in which they are thinking about you strongly, and it will come to you because it comes to me. And I see in my dreams, I get my intuition, and I get these little pings about these connections, because you can't hide on the other side. And when we get into deeper states of meditation, you're getting more and more attuned to the sensory that is the all knowing, because there's nothing to hide. You can't hide your vibration. You can't hide your intention or your agenda on the other side. It's vibrationally known instantaneously. That's why when you connect to your spirit guides, they know exactly what you are trying to accomplish, because you're vibrating it. You're vibrating a need. You're vibrating a desire. It's all frequency based. So, my point is, be careful with your strong thoughts um, that are charged with emotion, because if you dwell or think about someone very strongly, it will break through. Uh, Now, obviously, if they don't practice meditation, or they're not in a position to receive those signals, then yes, they won't really know, but there will be a part of them that will have a suspicion or intuition. But the higher you go into states of harmony, that information carries over much more clearly, until when you begin to trust your dreams, when you begin to trust your intuition more and more, when you become worthy of all information, it becomes much easier, because you trust yourself, you trust what comes to you. And your higher power recognizes that our low mind is beginning to reconnect to itself in the all knowing, but only when you've lost judgment for others. You're no longer judging them, you're understanding of them. So be mindful of the connections you put out into the ethers, because it will get to them and it does influence people. And it's a beautiful thing. So much confirmation, so much understanding comes from seeing and receiving this information through the dreaming state or through intuition. So I wanted to talk about these connections in this video. So beware astral connections. When you think deeply and you put that emotion onto your thoughts, it will eventually break through to that individual. Now, how much of that thought goes through, or what does it take for an emotionally based thought to bridge to the other individual? Well, that is left up to the two individuals' relationships, because of its need to know basis, or if it's going to help supply something, then it'll break through. But most of the time, it will be very difficult for that to go through. However, the more we meditate, the more we find that balance and harmony. You will be a balanced receiver, but only when you have a clear mind. So that is what I wanted to talk about today. And definitely don't be scared, to think, to have normal thoughts, to work things out in your own mind about relationships. Don't worry about that, because it's all fun and games. It's all harmony. No one gets hurt. No one really suffers. So enjoy, and I hope we're able to meet on the astral. So take care.